Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back. Today, I want you guys to come and explore with me the Vreed Hoop Shorebase that opened December of last year, 2024. I have some real nice footage, aerial drone footage of Vreed Hoop, the shore base itself, the surrounding areas, and everything like that. I have some real good footage. So you guys hang out and check it out. It's only fitting that if we're gonna go record anything in Vreed Hoop, we just have to show, the Stelling and Stelling Road and, the main road here with all the shops and stuff like that. So, I showed you guys the Stelling, the old Stelling, and, I drove through the main road there so you get a shot of, like, in the city there, all the way to the shore base itself. I have a question for you guys that live in foreign countries, whether USA, Canada, or UK, or any other foreign country. Was Vreedenhoop always this beautiful, or did it change over the years when you was here? Maybe, comment below. Tell me, comment below. You see that road right there coming up to the right? That road there is where they actually widened that road and they paved it, to accommodate the traffic coming in and out of the shore base. When you go down that road, that's where the shore base is located. You guys will see that in a little bit. But they made that road pretty wide to accommodate, traffic going in and out of the place. Off in the distance there, that was the Demerara Harbor Bridge, and of course that's the Demerara River there, leading straight out to the great wide expanse of the Atlantic. That's the Atlantic ahead straight there, and that's the shore base right there as well. We will switch over here in my car video or car footage. So you'll see the road. They built the road. It's a pretty nice road going in there. So it's in high speed. I speeded it up. I didn't want to bore you guys, but this is the road going in there. That's the hospital right there to the right. I think that's the best hospital. And down here, I'll go down halfway, and I decided to give you some more drone footage here of the surroundings and thing, you know. Back in 2022, Exxon Mobil awarded two companies with the contract. All right, and one of the companies was an umbrella company called NRG Holdings, which had a whole bunch of other small companies under it. and which is 100% Guyanese owned. The consortium, right? The NRG Holdings was 100% Guyanese owned, and then they also awarded it to a Belgian company, which was Jan de Nul, right? And Jan de Nul is a globally renowned maritime infrastructure company, right? They deal with straight maritime infrastructure, building of sea stuff, and things to do with the ocean, right? And at that time in 2022, the $260 million, that was the largest private sector contract, was given out, in Guyana. That was the largest at that time. I have videos dating back from 2022, when they just started the job, to present day. I just made this video last week, so it's from back then to the present day. And how they made this land, right? They added an additional, I think it's like 45 acres of land to Guyana's landmass by dredging the bottom of the river and the bottom of the ocean, right? So all they did, they took steel plates and they drove it into the riverbed, in the outline, whatever shape they wanted or whatever acreage of land they needed, and they drove the steel plates down into the riverbed, and then they went and they dredged the river, right? Made it wider, made it deeper, and then they went to the mouth of the river where the Atlantic comes in, and they dredged that, make it deeper and wider to accommodate the FPSOs and whatever big ships that, bigger ships, that to accommodate the size and the depth, of the ships that whatever they travel at, right? So these ships can come in to the port, right? So, and then they brought this sand back and they backfilled the land, right? They backfilled it until it filled, and then they also took the sand and they put it in front on the outside of the steel, so the steel is in the middle of the sand, right? The water doesn't touch the steel. At first the water was touching it, but after they filled it in, then as you can see, if you look closely, you'll see the steel lines, right? The steel plates, the lines of that, where they fill the in front and the behind of it to fill the land up. And at the beginning, I mean, I think the job had like 3 phases, right? When you look at it, it looks like an island, right? So everyone used to call it the man-made island or whatever. But at that time, it was in a different phase. It was only like maybe phase 1 or phase 2, right? Part of the project was being done, right? But eventually, that it was no longer. It was no longer an island, because they ended up filling everything in. So there was no water in between the two lands. It was just attached to, it was attached to the mainland. So it became one, and that's what they eventually did. And then, they built their structures and different things like that. I mean, there's talk of expansion, right? They're saying that this land here, this shore base is not only just a shore base, right? It would also be a port, like across the river there. You guys are gonna see there across the river. They have the John Fernandez wharf, right, where all your containers and cars and barrels and whatnot come in, right? These things are going to be coming to this port here, right? There were talks of it that soon is going to be a port, right? And you'll be able to, if you live on the West Coast, you don't have to drive across to Georgetown to go battle that traffic and whatnot. You can go right here to this port and pick up your items, whether it's a car, your business container, your barrel, your boxes, whatever it might be. You can pick it up right here on the West Coast. You don't have to go to the East Coast to get it. Basically this is the completed product, right? This is the finished product. Remember, it opened in December of last year, 2024. So it's actually, it's a working port. You're going to see some ships out there, they come and they get their stuff and they take it out, whether they're going to take it to the oil rigs or the FPSO, all the parts, everything that those oil rigs and those FBSO whatever parts they need if they have any kind of problem, everything is right here on the ground. This is why they built this shore base, right? And you know, it's going to be a storage, a fuel storage is what they're saying. Is going to be a fuel storage, is going to be a port where all your items come in, your shipping items. You know, you can get all these items here, and you guys will see in the video that you know, you see all their equipment. So these ships, they just come right here, they pick up what they need. They have a crane at the end of at the port there, right? The boats come, the crane load up whatever they need, they take it out to their oil rigs, you know, anything oil, whatever, they take it out there, and all their parts, everything is right here, you know. So, you know, when this thing is all said and done, you know, they're saying it's 260 million, but it's gonna cost an upwards of, you know, 300 million. That's US, right? An equivalent of, I think it's let's say 62 billion Guyana dollars is what this port will cost when it's all said and done, you know. But it's not just gonna be a shore base. It's gonna be a port. It's gonna be, you know, a storage facility for like maybe fuel and oil and different things, you know. Maybe the FBSOs, they come in and they offload their fuel here and they store it, and other boats come and pick it up and they distribute it across the world wherever it might go, right? So, you know, as you can see here, you know, this is all their supplies. This is all their supplies. Everything is right here laid out on the ground. So, you know, if anything breaks in the field, they come and they get it, they take it, they service whatever, fix whatever the problem might be, and everything is back and ready for them to pump the oil out of the ground. You know, that's what this shore base here is for, mainly, you know. So, you know, I want to thank you guys again. You know, I appreciate you guys. Much love, you know. Show you guys that's our beautiful city there across the street. I mean, sorry, across the river, right? Across the river, not a street, but check out my previous videos right here. Click on either one. Drop a like, comment. I appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one.